Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we are going over week 12. We're going to be talking about players that you should add for the long term, and then we're also going to be talking about streamers that you can add for this week to help you win your matchup. So let's dive right into it. Before we get into the week 12 schedule and which streamers to add, I want to talk about long-term ads that you should make for your team. Number one is Rickard Rakell of the Pittsburgh Penguins. First line with Crosby, first line power play with Crosby, Malkin, and Letang. And he's only 67% rostered. If your league values peripherals, he also puts up really good numbers in those, so I think it is a great ad. Number two is Adrian Kempe of the Los Angeles Kings. He started off slow this year, but he's really been picking it up. He has all the position eligibilities that you can have as a forward, and he was amazing last year. He put up like 35 goals. He's finally back on the first line power play, and he's on the first line right now with Anze Kopitar and Kevin Fiala, so a lot of potential there for a long-term hold. Number three is Tomas Hertl, really underrated guy. I mean, he's been a consistent 30-plus goal scorer in this league. The Sharks aren't the best, but first line power play, puts up really good peripherals too, so I think he's a great ad as well for long term. Number four, Joel Eriksson Ek on the first line power play on Minnesota. Another guy that's super underrated with only 65% rostered, and he puts up amazing peripherals as well. I think this is a great long-term ad. He's just a guy that you want to roster every night, and you know he's going to get you some sort of points. Number five is Riley Smith of the Vegas Golden Knights, another super underrated guy. He is playing on the first line power play on Vegas, and he already has 17 goals this year in 35 games. Takes a lot of shots too. I think this is a really good ad to have for your team long term. Number six on this list is Michael Bunting on the Toronto Maple Leafs. He was great last year. He put up 63 points in 79 games, and he is back on that first line power play and also playing on that first line with Austin Matthews. So a lot of potential there. I think he's going to put up a lot of points for the rest of the season. Number seven is Carter Verhaeghe of the Florida Panthers. He is kind of a streaky player, but he was great last year. He plays alongside Barkov. He is on the first line power play now. I'm not sure if he's always been on that first line power play. Sometimes he's on the second, but I think Florida can score a lot of goals, and Verhaeghe is going to be a part of that. He has 28 points in 33 games, and I think he will likely be a 60-point player this year, so a really good long-term ad as well. Number eight is David Perron of the Detroit Red Wings. Lots of potential here, guys. First line power play. Perron has been really consistent over the last couple of seasons. He was killing it on the Blues before he moved this offseason. 27 goals in 67 games last year on the Blues, and with this deployment, there are a lot of opportunities for Perron, so I think it is a great long-term ad. Number nine is Travis Konechny, who plays on the Philadelphia Flyers, a super underrated player at only 61%. I think this is way too low. He has 30 points in 28 games, so he's an over point per game player. He's on the first line. He's on the first line power play. He's on pace for like 85 points this year, so I think he should be higher rostered, and I think this is a great ad moving forward long term. Number 10, another underrated player, is Anders Lee of the New York Islanders. He has been picking it up as of late, and we know Lee can score a lot of goals. If you look at his career stats, he's been pretty much a consistent 30-plus goal scorer in this league. He takes a lot of shots. He makes a lot of hits as well, so if your league counts those, that is good. I think it could be a really good long-term hold if some of these other guys aren't available. He is on the first line, he's on the first line power play, and the potential is there. We know what he can do. Moving on to long-term ads under 60%, because I know a lot of those guys in the first list aren't going to be available in most of your leagues. Number one is Dylan Cousins of the Buffalo Sabres, and I talked about this guy in one of my must-add videos. I am super high on Dylan Cousins, third year in the league, and he's been almost a point per game player so far throughout the season. He's on the second line, but he is on that first line power play with Tage Thompson, Alex Tuch, and Jeff Skinner, and Buffalo is an absolute wagon this season, so I think there is so much potential. I think this is a breakout year for Cousins, and Buffalo has one of the best playoff schedules, so I would advocate to hold Cousins if you have him, or add him if he is on your waiver wire. Number two is Brandon Hagel of the Tampa Bay Lightning. He's been on fire as of late. He's playing on the first line with Braden Point and Nikita Kucherov, and he's also on that first line power play with those guys, plus Stamkos and Victor Hedman. So I think this is a great long-term hold. Lots of potential with Hagel, and I wish he was on my waiver wire right now because I would add him. Number three is Tom Wilson of the Washington Capitals. He has been cleared for contact, no longer in a non-contact jersey during practice, which means that his return is imminent. This could mean mean that he could be back as early as the beginning of January, but potentially probably in the middle of January. Either way, I think you should add him before it's too late, because he does put up goals and points, not a crazy amount of points, but he takes so many hits, one of the best peripheral guys in the league. So if your league counts those, he is super valuable. Number 4 is Jacob Verana of the Detroit Red Wings. He is back skating with the team. There isn't a timetable for his return, but I expect that he will be back in the next couple of weeks, so I think this is a really good add. Verana is such a good sniper, and I think he could put up 30 goals in a full healthy season. So when he is back in that top 6 on the Red Wings and on the first line power play, I expect him to put up a lot of points. Number 5 is David Krejci. His shooting percentage is a little bit high right now, but he's playing on a line with David Pastrnak, which is going to be extremely valuable as the season goes on, because Pass has been one of the best players in the league. Not much else to say here, guys. Bruins are a wagon, one of the best teams in the league, and Krejci will probably put up 60 to 70 points this year. Number 6 is Jared McCann of the Seattle Kraken. He has been really good this season. He has 16 goals in 29 games. His shooting percentage is really high, so I expect some regression, but he is playing on a Seattle Kraken team that can score a lot of goals. He is on the first line, and he is getting good power play time as well, so I think this could be a potential long-term hold, and I expect his roster to go up very soon. Number 7 is Nicholas Backstrom of the Washington Capitals. I talked about him in my IR stash video, and I did say that there is a lot of risk involved with Backstrom. He just came back from hip resurfacing surgery, and that surgery is notorious for ending NHL careers. Ryan Kessler is one example. He is practicing with the team. People say he does look good, but it remains to be seen if he can play a lot of games. I do think this is a potential good stash in deeper leagues. There is some risk he could come back and retire just like Kessler did, but he was skating on the first line with Alex Ovechkin and Tom Wilson in practice the other day, so a lot of potential there if he is truly healthy. Number 8 is Nick Schmaltz of the Arizona Coyotes, another super underrated player at only 17% rostered. This is way too low. He had 59 points in 63 games last season. He has 6 points in his last 4 games. He's on the first line with Clayton Keller, and I think there is so much potential, so add Schmaltz before it's too late. Number 9 is Evan Rodriguez of the Colorado Avalanche. He has been getting a lot of ice time lately with McKinnon out, but even when all of those guys come back from injury, Landeskog and McKinnon that is, he is still expected to be in that top 6, and he was really good on the Penguins last year, putting up 43 points, so I think this is a very sneaky sleeper ad, and I expect him to be good for the rest of the season. Number 10 is Morgan Frost of the Philadelphia Flyers, and I think this is another huge sleeper ad at only 2% rostered. He's on a 3-game goal streak. He had 4 points the other night against the Arizona Coyotes, and he is on that first line in that first line power play. He's a young player, and this could be finally his breakout season, so add him and see where it goes. Moving on to long-term ads for defensemen, we have a couple of really good options on this list. Number 1 being Vince Dunn of the Seattle Kraken. He has 18 points this year. The Kraken can score a lot of goals, and he does see good power play time. Puts up good peripherals as well if your league counts those, so this could be a really good long-term hold at only 48% rostered. Number 2 is Keandre Miller on the Rangers. He has 16 points in 35 games. He puts up really good peripherals, and he has been on fire as of late. So this could be a really good ad for a long-term defenseman if you need one on your team. Number 3 is Dmitry Orlov of the Washington Capitals, and this guy is a huge sleeper. He has 10 points in 19 games on the season, and he does see second line power play time, puts up amazing peripherals, and last year he had 12 goals and 35 points in 76 games. So this is a really good long-term hold. Maybe in some deeper leagues, but if you're looking for a defenseman, this could be your guy. Number 4 is Brady Skye. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but he is a really underrated defenseman with 39 points last season, put up 9 goals as well. He has 6 goals already this season, and he puts up decent peripherals too. So if you're looking for a defenseman at only 28% rostered, this is a really big sleeper. Number 5, another defenseman on the Washington Capitals. This guy scored a hat trick the other night against the Maple Leafs, and he has 16 points in 34 games. So a really good long-term hold. He came out of nowhere, and right now he's on the first line power play. I just checked daily faceoff, so at only 18% roster, this is a huge ad and could be really big moving forward. Number 6, I talked about this guy in my IR stash video, Adam Boquist of the Columbus Blue Jackets. He is only 7% rostered, and he's likely going to be on that first line power play. He had 11 goals in 52 games last year, so at only 7% rostered, this could be huge for your team. I stashed him about a couple of weeks ago in a 14-team league, and I feel amazing about it. So I suggest you pick him up because he's going to start his first game very soon. For goalie long-term ads, we have a couple of guys on this list that could be huge for your team. Number 1 being Phoenix Copley of the Los Angeles Kings. This guy's been a career backup, and he just started his 5th game in a row row. In fact, he has won 4 games in a row at this point. He just beat Calgary last night. And things are looking really good. I mean, at only 24% rostered, you could be picking up a guy that is going to be the #1 starter for the rest of the season on a Kings team that is decent. So I think you should add this guy before it's too late, because there is so much potential there with Jonathan Quick playing really bad. Number 2 is Mackenzie Blackwood. He just came back from injury. Devils have been playing pretty bad as of late. However, they just snapped their 7-game losing streak against the Panthers with Blackwood in net. Vanacek has been playing bad lately, and I do think this is going to be a 1A, 1B situation moving forward. I still think the Devils are going to be a good team as the season goes on. So if you're looking to add a goalie that's going to start 50% of the games or more on a really good team, then Blackwood is your guy. On to the Week 12 schedule, guys. We do have another short week with no games being played on Monday, but we have some teams with 4 games and also teams with really good off nights. So let's talk about it. We have the Buffalo Sabres, the Ottawa Senators, the San Jose Sharks, and the Chicago Blackhawks all having 4 games but only 1 off night on Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. The teams with the best off night schedules are the New Jersey Devils and the Seattle Kraken, playing 3 games and all of them being off nights, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. And then the Carolina Hurricanes, who have 3 games but only 2 off nights, playing Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. With that schedule in mind, we have a list of Week 12 streamers that you might want to pick up for the whole week. Number 1 being Tomas Hertl of the San Jose Sharks. First line power play, has 4 games and 1 off night. Number 2 is Dylan Cousins of the Buffalo Sabres on the first line power play, 4 games and 1 off night. Number 3 is Logan Couture of the San Jose Sharks, 4 games and 1 off night on that first line power play. Has played really well this season. Number 4 is Jared McCann of the Seattle Kraken. Has been scoring a ton of goals as of late, as I said, but he has 3 games and 3 off nights this week, so he might be a better ad than the guys above him if your schedule this week involves a lot of players with heavy nights. Same thing with Jordan Eberle of the Kraken. Has been playing really good as of late with 25 points in 32 games, and he has 3 games and 3 off nights, so a really solid ad if you have a lot of heavy nights. Number 6 is Teuvo Teravainen of the Carolina Hurricanes. He has played really bad this season, but he is picking it up as of late. He only has 2 goals in 23 games, but because he's playing well and the Hurricanes have a good schedule, I think he's a good streamer this week. He's playing on the first line power play and the first line, so lots of good opportunities. 3 games and 2 off nights, a really good stream. Number 7 is Tomas Tatar of the New Jersey Devils. Devils have 3 games and 3 off nights this week, and he is on that first line power play, so lots of potential there for a good stream. Number 8 is Stefan Noesen of the Carolina Hurricanes. They have 3 games and 2 off nights this week, and he's been really good as of late because he finds himself on the first line power play with Sebastian Aho out with an injury. I think if he can carry on with this hot streak, this could be a really good stream for this week. Number 9, another guy in the Hurricanes, Jordan Staal. He has been a consistent player for the last couple of seasons, puts a good peripherals, is on that third line, and I think it's just a solid stream. He was likely going to put up some points with better deployment with Aho out. Number 10 is Seth Jarvis, another Canes player. He isn't on that first line power play, but he is on that top 6. So if you're looking for off nights, this could be a good ad in some deeper leagues. Number 11 is Max Domi of the Chicago Blackhawks. He has 4 games this week and 1 off night, so if your schedule doesn't have a lot of heavy nights, this could be a really good stream. First line and first line power play. He's kind of slowed down after he was on a hot streak, but he could pick it up again, so this could be a really good stream for this week. Moving on to Week 12 goalie streamers, there are a lot of good options on this list. Number 1 being James Reimer of the San Jose Sharks. At only 29% roster, this is a really good steal. This could be a long-term hold in some scenarios. But for this week, because the Sharks have 4 games, he is likely going to start 3 or 4 games this week. He is back from injury, and Kakkonen has not played that well, so I expect Reimer to get a lot of starts, which could give you a lot of fantasy points. Number 2, Mackenzie Blackwood. Devils have 3 games and 3 off nights this week. No back-to-backs, but if Blackwood keeps playing well, he will get more starts. He could potentially get 2 or even 3 games this week, and the Devils are still a good team, so that could give you fantasy points as well. For number 3 and 4, we have Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and Craig Anderson on the Buffalo Sabres. They have played really well as of late. They are splitting starts. Comrie isn't back just yet, but if you pick up both of those guys, you get guaranteed 4 games this week. You don't have to pick up both of them, but I think if you pick up one of them, that could be really good because Buffalo plays some pretty bad teams this week. Columbus, Detroit, and Ottawa, 3 of the 4 games, so that could be very valuable and help you win this week. The last thing we're talking about on this list is back-to-back goalies for Week 12, and we have some really good options on this list. Number 1 being Adin Hill of the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas are clearly one of the best teams in in the league, and they play a back-to-back on Tuesday and Wednesday. LA and Anaheim are those two games. Hill could very likely play Anaheim on Wednesday, which is probably a guaranteed W. Number 2 is Brian Elliott of the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Lightning have a back-to-back on Wednesday and Thursday. Yes, Elliott just had a pretty bad game against the Detroit Red Wings, but he's been really good all season. So if he does play Montreal on Wednesday, this could be really good and probably a guaranteed W. Nothing certain, but hopefully he gets Montreal on Wednesday, and then Vasi gets the Rangers on Thursday. Number 3, Kevin Lankinen on the Nashville Predators. They have a back-to-back Friday and Saturday. Nashville lets a lot of shots against, which means a lot of saves. And on Friday, they play the Anaheim Ducks. So this could be a really good W against the second worst team in the league. Number 4, Anton Forsberg of the Ottawa Senators. They have a back-to-back Saturday, Sunday, and they play Buffalo and Detroit. Either one of those teams could be very good and a potential W, so that's always a good option. Rounding out this list at number 5 are the Buffalo Sabres goalies, which I did talk about earlier in this video, but they do have a back-to-back Saturday, Saturday against Boston and Sunday against Ottawa. So whichever goalie plays Ottawa on Sunday could be a very good ad. All right, guys, that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. I will be taking a little bit of a break to spend time with family and friends, but I will be back probably around the 29th, so stay tuned for that. Hit that subscribe button below if you enjoyed this content. Also hit that like button. We're trying to get to 75 likes on this video. If you want to be notified when I post a video, hit that notification bell as well. Thank you guys again, and have a good rest of your week. Take care and bye.